Big Boy's Neighborhood, Baron Davis, BD in the neighborhood, man. Before we got into the interview, we sat here for about 10 minutes talking about everything but basketball. How crazy, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
How crazy is that, man? But welcome to the neighborhood, bro.
Man, I appreciate it.
I don't know where to start. I got to start first where we just kind of just picked up off air. Now, we know the accolades and just the b-ball and everything, but your television show, bro.
Yeah.
You got a show that is so, I wish I could say, it's so effing funny to me, bro. It's so entertaining. I got to ask you, for one, you got it in with Fuse.
Yeah.
I got to ask you, man, what was in your head when you went to go pitch this show?
Man, it was just like I wanted to make a show that was, that was real life. I meet people all the time. I got a lot of people coming at me all the time. And I just thought that it would be cool to have a show that was almost like my version of Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yes.
Based on like my life, but like,
dude, that's a
grounded.
dope example.
That is what it really is.
Yeah, because I'm telling you, man, when I first started looking at it, BD, I was like, okay, what am I about to watch?
Yeah.
And then by the time I got into like the first couple minutes, I was like, okay, I see what he's doing here.
Yeah.
I see what he's doing here. And the show is called WTF Baron Davis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah. We on radio, you know what I'm saying? I don't have that Fuse Liberty yet.
The initials.
But even when I watched it, man, so what do we get during a season of WTF Baron Davis?
So shout out to my co-star, B-Dot.
Yeah, man.
He's a social media star, and he was got famous for doing the Westbrook James Harden impersonations, and I was just like, you know what, it's real talent right there, man. And we linked up, and I was like, yo, I got an idea for a show. Influencers always pitching stuff and trying to like brand themselves. Why don't you pitch this product? And so I came up with an idea for him to be almost like my understudy. So the first season is me mentoring him and him basically trying to launch his brand. So, outside of all the other business endeavors that you don't really see that I'm doing, like I'm taking some time to basically be his Yoda.
Yeah,
you know
man.
What I mean?
Hey, dude, and I picked that up like instantly from the beginning. You already see what the characters are.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's not a hard introduction. You just picked it up quickly. And I was asking you off air. I was like, man, I said your cousin that was selling the snow cones. We let people figure it out. But the one that was selling the snow cones, I was like, man, is that Mickey? And you was like, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's What's Up Mickey. And I was watching him on Instagram.
Yeah.
So every night before I go to sleep, I just like try and find like all the funny dudes on Instagram. And, no matter if they got a big following, a small following, and he was doing this character called OG Crip Cuz.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and so OG...
Which, Mickey, we got to talk because I got OG Crip Cuz that's older than you.
All day. And, OG Crip Cuz just like a lot of my cousins.
Yeah.
So I was just like, man, it'd be dope to have a show where, when you look at the show, you see real people, right? And it's marred and it's kind of, it feels like you really watching my life. And shout out to What's Up Mickey.
When I saw the snow cone line, I knew what was going on. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I didn't.
Man, I knew what was going down, man. But it is so cleverly shot and so well put together, man.
Yeah, shout out to Nick Thomas, the creator of the show, the showrunner, director. Carl Reed, one of our writers. We had a good team. We got a good team of creative people working on it that knew me. You know what I mean? And just kind of know that I like to be a little off the cup. With my
let
comedy.
me tell you, seeing you out, right, and watching you, watching your career, son. I'm probably not as close to you as I thought because I didn't see that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? For what I'm seeing in the show, I didn't see that, man. Like, and I instantly picked it up.
Man.
Like, this dude is hilarious. I just text you. I was like, man, hilarious.
Nah, that
he
was
texted me
dope.
back. He said, "Who's this?"
I have your number, big. It's my first time. I have your number.
He smooth hit me with he hit me with like praying hands, like a thank you. Then who's this? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
WTF? What the F? Baron Davis, man, and it lands on Fuse. They're doing back-to-back episodes on. Is it Sunday? Is it every Sunday now?
It's gonna be every Sunday.
Hey man, I think you're gonna bring a lot of eyeballs to Fuse, man.
Man, I hope so. I think Fuse just gave me an opportunity to do it, and they headed in the right direction. Giving people like me,
they got great
an
programming
athlete,
over
right?
there. Yeah.
I'm an athlete, and you don't think I'm funny, but I'm funny. I come from just a lot of funny situations.
Dude, you got a great cast too,
man. Great cast,
and I can just imagine what's about to happen on episode 2, 3. So how many did you do?
We did 8 episodes.
Okay, so yeah, I could have binge watched that. They sure didn't send it to me though.
I got you, dog.
What else you got your hands on right now, BD?
So just writing and creating a lot of stuff. I got a project that I'm working on that's kind of like a Boys in the Hood meets He Got Game.
Oh yeah.
So for me and my production side, I just want to make sure that I tell real stories. Stories that either they're funny and make you laugh, give you a feeling, or stories that's serious that kind of come from my background, that's rooted in LA or rooted like in the culture where you can really tie into and just giving young filmmakers really opportunity to collaborate. So it's all about like figuring out my time and my space as an actor, as a producer. And then making
but this
sure
isn't new for you though, huh?
No, I've been doing it.
Yeah.
I just don't broadcast it. I haven't been one to broadcast. I directed and produced the Drew doc. Shout out to Chad Gore, my directing partner. So I got my hands dirty, just kind of making things. And now it's time, for me to start like moving to the next, next level of like acting and producing and letting people, just laugh, get a feeling.
Had you always been a personality though?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. You can really
I'm
see
like
it.
The jokester. I'm the jokester. I got jokes. I'm just funny.
Why do you think Fuse took a chance on What the F? You know what I'm saying, Baron Davis?
Because I ain't. Fuse. I think Fuse needs to head in the right direction.
Right, because when you see it, it's a no-brainer when you see it. Yeah. I even told the team, I was like, hey, man, I said, make sure y'all watch that before BD come in.
Nah, Fuse is what people call they getting woke.
Yeah.
They getting woke, and so they trying stuff. And, for me, I've been in a bunch of studios and a bunch of networks pitching this show, and it's just like people they couldn't, they're like, oh, we love sports, but we don't understand, like, who is this for? So Fuse just took a chance and let's see
on the same show, the What the F?
On the same show. It was actually a bigger idea, like a 30-minute show, and then we made it for like 12, 13 minutes.
Yeah, man, easily digestible, and you want more though.
Yeah, I like this format.
Who do you have for the season? Because I see people just pop up.
Yeah, we got some cameos. It's kind of like I'd rather not explain who the cameos are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because when they
I'll start reading these names off at this interview.
Yeah, because they like.
Do they play themselves?
No.
Oh.
No. So nobody really plays themselves but me and B-Dot.
Right.
But we got some cameos. Lamar Morris. Jerry Fiora.
I love him.
Flavor Flav.
Oh Lord,
Love and Greg.
So Flavor Flav not playing Flavor Flav?
Nah, man.
Hey,
you got
all right.
Hey, dog, Flavor Flav came through and blessed me, man. It took us about, like 56 takes because he was coming in. That was our first time we met. So he was like, all right, action. And he'd walk in the room and he'd be like, yo, Baron Davis, my dog. And it was just like, nah, Flav, he's the lines, dog. Come in and he was like, yo, I ain't tripping, dog. Like, you my dog. I was like, Flav, you my dog. So it took us about like 30 takes.
Really though?
Like every time he walked in the room, it was like we had just met each other for the first time. Like,
oh my goodness.
And we was like, nah, dog, we got to do these takes, man.
Yo, G, what's up? Like, yo, please, bro.
And then be like, yo, I got it. Don't trip. I just have to give you some love. I appreciate this. Hey, I was like, Flav, I got you, dog.
Like, man,
like
if you love me so much, you'll stop effing up these things.
Man. Flav came through and blessed us big time. No.
After you finish, you're like, he blessed us.
He freestyled. He gave us a freestyle. Oh, man, we was hanging out all day with Flavor Flav.
Man, but no, you do have what appears to be a great show, man.
Thank you, man.
And Fuse, hopefully not hopefully. Once we get on to it and people see what it is, we'll get a season 2. Because even when I was watching, I was like, man, I wonder if he's finished shooting. Because I really wanted to pop up.
Man, I need you, man. Season 2, come on.
Fuse.
All right, well, Fuse, and we're in the Fuse family as well, man.
See,
We're Fuse Music. We're over. You know how there's MTV, then there's MTV2. Yeah, we're Fuse. Yeah.
Hey, but
we're doing it though.
I do want to tell you something though, because I give you a lot of credit, man. Like just the phone taps. Like,
oh, thank you.
Growing
bro.
up as a kid here in LA, like I would wake up and make sure I hit them phone taps, man. Like remember the phone tap mixtape came out.
Yeah, man.
All that, man. So you like a big inspiration.
Yeah, the all the CD stuff that came out was unauthorized. Thank you.
Oh, my bad.
Thank you for having it. You know what I'm saying? Wait till I start bootlegging this WTF Baron Davis.
You already know, swap me, man. You know,
yeah, I'm gonna get it out there. It's a whole different way now, though. Baron, we got to talk about basketball.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
How does the Lakers look to you now that LeBron is here? Is it still gonna take us some time?
Not really.
Okay.
You know, when you look at the NBA now, you got to start looking at matchups.
Mm-hmm.
So being a 1 and an 8 seed or a 2 and a 7, it don't matter if you can find the right matchup. And I think LeBron on the Lakers give them the best possible matchup for the top teams in the league.
Gotcha.
A Golden State, Houston, OKC, Toronto.
Who's surprising you that's doing well right now? And not surprising like, I didn't think it was gonna happen, but
I would say the Brandon Ingram.
and what team is that?
Ingram.
Lakers.
For the Lakers.
Oh my.
Yeah, Brandon Ingram. You mean in across the entire league?
Yeah.
I was
Not even person, just team.
Luka Doncic as a player, and then I would say the Clippers.
Right.
I mean, they're not surprising me because I kind of called it, but I would say the Clippers and Sacramento are probably the most surprising teams in the league. Just
when the Clippers when we got rid of Griffin and Chris Paul, I was thinking like, oh man, like damn, they done got we were so there was so many times they were so close, and now they like I'm like oh shit,
they right there. I think when
even Clipper Darrell pulled his outfit out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he
like,
came back. Yeah, Clipper Darrell came back. Remember he was trying to leave.
Yeah, so but you think like with the Lakers, like not that it will take some time, but we still got to build.
It's tough, man, because they got so much talent, right? And if they can put that talent is starting to mesh. Even with LeBron out, you see these guys like fighting and playing well and playing the right way. So if you can actually implement LeBron back into that, and they can get some chemistry and camaraderie, I think they right there, right? Just a couple pieces away. But LeBron gives them the best advantage to be the most, flexible team. Right. He can play center. He can play point guard. They can go big, small.
Do you think we want too much in LA? Because we want it now.
Yeah, I mean, like, this is the city. This is the city. Everybody won a championship every year, and from Magic Johnson to Kobe and Shaq, that's just the expectations of, LA and basketball. LA and basketball go hand in hand. It's a lifestyle. So the expectations sometimes are unreal, but that's what people used to.
How close are you to the game? Do you still go to games? And
yeah,
you do.
Yeah.
Do you need sorry, baby. Do you need a ticket to go to a game?
Sometimes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I was gonna walk in with you.
Yeah, depending on the stadium.
Yeah, I definitely gonna walk. Yeah, to be like, man.
Sometimes they don't have a seat for me. I just
roam around
in the back.
I would just kick it back.
Basketball. You know what I'm
VIP,
saying?
man.
Now, what you about to say, Natalia?
After you left the league, how much longer was it? Like, did you have a period where you're like, I don't want to go to games right now. I need to mourn this part of my life, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. It was tough because I always kind of stayed connected, and as soon as because I got hurt, and so my career was over. The next year, I just started working for the Knicks, so I was almost like traveling with the team. Like I was an ambassador sitting there and sitting courtside. So it became something that I kind of got used to, and then I would go and check on my boys, just to kind of stay connected to them and see them during the season. So it didn't really bother me.
With an injury putting you out of the game, do you sit on the bench or do you view it different? Like, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't like old or like, man, I could work his ass. You know what I'm saying?
No, you still sitting over there. Like, as soon as I come in the arena, I get a little taller, I get a little stronger. And then I'm watching the game. I'm like, damn, dog, if I lose this 20 pounds, I can do what he do.
Now, Shaq was saying that if he were to play today, he would play for the Knicks. You know what I'm saying? If you were to play today, where would Baron Davis play?
I would always want to play for the Lakers.
I heard that.
My whole career, I wanted to play for the Lakers. So, You know,
Did you
be
almost
Lakers.
just miss it by that much?
Yep.
You know, damn.
Yeah, it was just like every year. It was like, damn, dude, I was right there.
And just being at home.
being at home.
The people that play with you on the Clippers
crazy.
probably like, man, F him. No. Like, man, he really, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Hey,
he really
man,
gonna
you
say
know.
that?
Look at him looking at that purple
But no,
and gold.
for real, it was when I
we
got to
grew
the
up with.
Clippers, it was crazy because, you know, Kobe and Pau Gasol and everybody. And I was like, yo, instead of hating these dudes, right, we need to take a page out of their book, you know? And I think that when I got to the Clippers was just, you know, it was in shambles. You know what I mean? Donald
Yeah.
Sterling, all
Oh,
that was
man.
happening.
Yeah.
And I was trying to get everybody to see that, yo, we don't even need to talk to dude. We don't, you know, we need to try and build something on our own. But the Lakers should be an example. You know, like it don't make no sense for us to go around hating on champions when you can learn something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. But everybody had this Laker hate, and I was a Laker fan, so it wasn't like, hey man, I'm over here at the Clippers, but we suck. We
Right.
need to be learning something, you know. And I think that once we start to like respect them more, you know what I mean, then I think the organization start to change, right, and look for the right players and want to compete.
How injured are you now?
Not injured anymore.
Really though?
Not injured anymore.
Would you get back in right now?
Oh man,
The Lakers call.
yeah. If the Lakers,
Yeah.
the Lakers, the Warriors, yeah, the Warriors call, yeah.
Warriors call, you gonna get you one real quick.
Come on,
You know what I'm
man.
saying? Like, go
Let
get
me
you some of
get on
that jewelry.
Let me get on that parade bus.
Yeah, people gonna get their jewelry over there. You know what I'm saying?
All day.
Like, Baron Davis, team or individual? Is there anyone that's overhyped in the NBA right now?
I don't know. You know, I would say it's a lot of hype, right? It's a lot of hype, more team-wise, right? Which teams are in, like, first place or which teams are doing bad and the Warriors not playing well. You know, I think it's a lot of hype around teams because that's what has to be built up right now, you know, to see who's actually going to measure out in the end. But as far as, like, player hype, I don't know.
Who do you think is gonna go to the finals? What two teams?
I mean, if
about to go bet right now.
I'm spending my money,
Yeah.
I don't know if I can say that.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
can I
Go
say
for
that?
it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know.
The Warriors.
Yeah.
I think
Warriors.
the Warriors.
Again, huh?
Yeah, the Warriors
Damn,
for sure.
dog.
Because you got to think they got DeMarcus Cousins coming back. So you talk about, you know, whatever they're lacking, he's going to make up for that and more. Even if he's, you know, 10 points, 8 rebounds.
Right,
you know,
right.
that's 10 more points and 8 more rebounds and more possessions that they get. And then I think in the East, I like Toronto, right? I think Toronto is at a point where they have enough guys who are aggressive enough, right, and looking to score, and they got a good complement, veterans, middle-tier guys, and a good bench in order to get over the hump in the East. But you got Philadelphia there. You got Boston. But those are, I would say, out of the East, those would be the top 3 teams out the East that I think would come out.
What do we not see in the NBA? Like when it's game day, or when you get, how many uniforms do you guys have?
Maybe like 4 sets of each color.
Is it wrong when you go out of hype? Do they get upset with you when you take your jersey off
Oh,
and
yeah,
throw it
absolutely.
to a fan? Oh,
Yeah, they got to pay for that.
yeah.
Usually, if you watch closely, it's the equipment manager as he pulling it off, trying to say, "No, I get you another one."
Right.
You know,
Right.
yeah, because those jerseys.
So what do
I'll
you
hold
do?
on
You
to
take
those.
it and throw it just in the bin, and they wash it and put it back
so
up?
You go in the locker room, you change, throw all your stuff in your bag. You know, you have like a little laundry bag. You take your jerseys off, put it in the laundry thing, and you go take a shower, come out, get fresh, and go
After a game, how quick before y'all get out of town?
out. It takes about an hour and a half from the time the game is over to get everybody like situated and on the bus, because you got media, you got interviews, you got family. If you're on the road, you're trying to do that within like a good hour and a half, be on the bus and towards the airport.
Oh, wow.
Then you go to the airport, get on the airport, take about 30 minutes for, you know, everybody they get their bags put on, everybody get on the airport, get settled, fly in, then you got to worry about going to sleep. Right?
Damn.
That's what people don't really understand is that, you know, guys are like vampires because they got to travel at, 12 and 2
schedule.
o'clock in the morning, wake up the next morning and sometimes perform
Right.
at 7 at night, even sometimes in the day. So, sleep is really important, and guys don't get enough ample amount of sleep.
What do you miss the most about the NBA?
All the free stuff.
Yeah. Keep it real though.
No, I'm joking.
No, you serious?
No, I miss the game. I miss the game. I miss the camaraderie. Like I still work out. I just miss playing basketball.
Yeah.
So, you know, being in the NBA, it was like you playing with dudes that you don't need to, you know, they're all like-minded, right? It's all like-minded goals, but it's just like that team camaraderie, you know, just playing in the game, that atmosphere, just
You know, you miss like the travel and going into the arenas and stuff like that?
Yeah, all that was cool. I think now, you know, the travel and all that would be like, if I made a comeback, that would be the thing that I would have to try and like work out and be, you know, be in shape.
That'd be an adjustment.
Yeah, because playing is cool, but then you got to get on a plane and do all that. So you got to really be in shape.
Let me ask you, man, and just reading here, Hornets, Golden State Warriors, LA Clippers, Cleveland Cavaliers, New York Knicks. If you had to put your jersey in one arena.
Golden State.
Golden State.
Yeah.
I heard that.
Yeah, that was for me, that was always home. I would say there, and then even like Charlotte, you know, Charlotte, New Orleans.
They did you right?
Yeah, they did me right for the most part.
Then
they kicked me out.
Up
but
until
Golden
this point.
State, I would say Golden State because, you know, when I got there, I told them that, you know, I'm going to turn this around no matter what. And they worked with me, and we built something, and we were building something. And, you know, I left because I felt like the ownership and the management really wasn't going to serve the fans or the community, and we weren't going to really have a chance to win because it was more about the money than it was about what we had accomplished. And so that's why I left and went to the Clippers. So, you know, I would say Golden State because, like, that was the place that I really wanted to stay at, but I knew I had to leave in order for, like, all that to, like, you know, kind of come bust.
How do you feel about we're starting to see more of, like, the super teams? You know what I'm saying? Where people leaving to like, man, I gotta go get a ring. You know, we seeing that a lot more.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I mean, it's ring chasing at this point. You know, guys are saying, you know, KD did it. You know, Bron teamed up with Wade, but you know, at this point now, when guys are doing it, I just think that it's AAU basketball, and certain dudes are ring chasing. You know what I mean? And so, you know, you just have to pick and choose what kind of superstar you want to be. You know, you want to be, you know, the Robin or the third man, or you want to be, you know, the standalone superstar that, you know, gonna make it to the Hall of Fame but have a harder fight, you know?
Did you leave with a lot of your uniforms?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, as you should.
For sure. Yeah,
Hell
socks,
yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
You know, I was sending
thing.
socks home. You know, I'm from South Central, so I'm sending stuff home. You know.
Everybody got some long ass socks.
Oh, man, at the end of the season, going to equipment manager, hey, you got anything left over? Send it back to the house.
I
How
heard
hard
that.
was it to like tune out the haters, especially like during a game? You hear some people say some crazy stuff.
Oh, man, I saw a little 10-year-old girl call me an MF in Utah walking to the free throw line. What? Hey, I was walking to the free throw line. She was like, Baron Davis, you MF. You MF. I was like, yo. Like, dog, that's your girl. I wanted to, like, go in the stands and say, hey, dude, your daughter just called me a name.
She's
You know,
saying
but I
bad
have
words.
to shoot these free throws. But she's saying really bad words to me on the court, and she was, like, mouthing it, like, looking me dead in the eye, like she like she wanted
want
to
all the
kill
smoke,
me, dude.
huh? She want all the
I was
smoke.
like, yo, I was stunned. I was like, yo,
Hell
this
yeah,
is
because
not cool.
that's the one story you brought up.
Yeah, this is not cool. Like, I'm terrified of that girl.
You
Yeah.
still affected by
Yeah,
it.
I think she was gonna try and kill me or something, dude. She was serious.
Hell, and you said she was making sure you.
She said, Baron Davis, you, I'm gonna, I was like, whoa.
And who was she with?
Her dad.
Oh, okay.
Oh my gosh.
There it is. That's where it
She was
starts.
holding up a sign too.
with the N word on it.
Nah, she was just a passionate fan though, and
That's
I was killing.
hilarious.
And she wanted me to miss the free throws, so she
Did
was
you make 'em?
pissed. I think I made her.
I heard that.
Yeah, I'm not
You
sure.
didn't turn around and call her a B word another
No,
round.
no,
Okay,
no,
just
no,
checking.
no.
All right, just want to see where
I
your
was
head was at.
scared, man. I was scared.
I was scared of her.
She was too little. You know what I mean? She was
She
too
made
little.
eye contact.
But she got to
You know,
be
little
about
kids
something.
got wishes, dude. Little kids got wishes, you know?
Right. I wish that this man. Baron, we were just talking about when like at the end of the year or during the time you were playing, you'll make sure that y'all sent stuff back home.
Yeah.
And I do have to talk to you just about your charitable work. I got to talk to you about Black Santa as well, man. Why be that guy? You know, there's some people that are like, man, I'm out. I'm good.
Yeah.
Why continue to help out?
For me, it wasn't. It's not about money. So their money can't really like define your worth and like what you can really do and actually do for people or for society. money is just a means for getting stuff done.
Yeah.
And I always remember that the people closest to the problem are closest to the solution. And so for me, I want to stay close to the people that are close to the problems because they're closer to the solution. So I can be solution based. And, just thinking about Black Santa, I thought about that because there's no animated characters. There's no heroes. There's no Disney. There's no wishes. And so when we're thinking about Black Lives Matter or we're thinking about police brutality, it's like how do we one get a young black kid? I got boys 4 and 3 years old. How do I get them to see themselves bigger than anything that they can ever see, so they'll never have to be looked at like that? And then how do I get other kids to see them as heroes? Right?
How did you create the Black Santa Company?
I went to a Halloween party. And I was dressed up as Black Santa, and I was a hit, and people thought I was like a part of the show. And so I came back and trademarked it, and I just went around and really thought about it as a movie, right? And was like, of course we out here in LA pitching it as a movie. And a lot of the response that I was getting, even in the research, was, the liquor store Santa or the Santa who got out of jail. And it was just like all this negative stuff. And even like, some Hollywood producers was like, Mike Epps gets out of jail and he steals a Santa suit. I'm like, why does he have to get out of jail and steal something to be like good?
Yeah.
And, so with that came the frustration, and I felt like I had a bigger responsibility to open up a treasure chest of like African-American characters and wealth, and then also look at us and start celebrating our culture, start celebrating Latino and Latina culture, and have them speak for themselves. And so that's how I came up with the company is, multicultural content, multicultural family content for a multicultural audience. So if we celebrate each other, right, through our kids get a better understanding because they're the future. And then we as parents start to break down these walls and problem solve because we're all in the same community. So just looking at, a company like Disney and saying like, Black Santa can be my Mickey Mouse, Mrs. C can be my Minnie Mouse, and then so on and so forth. But, I want to see the Latina Cinderella, and I want to see that story that's so authentic that, 10 years from now, they're remaking that as a live action, and give those artists and give that community the voice to celebrate themselves and see themselves in animation.
How important is the community to you? Just growing up in Los Angeles, South Central, like how important is that to you?
Yeah, it's huge. I'm from South Central. I'm from the East Side. So I grew up on welfare. So I know what that felt like. But I also know what it feels like to have love. So I grew up with my grandparents. I didn't have my parents, so I know what that feels like. For a good part of my life. So for me, the community was like, out of all the horrors, that I grew up seeing, I somehow was able to use books, use basketball, use music, use TV and cartoons. I use all these other vehicles to kind of like block that stuff out. And so even like the crack and like the killings and the gangs and things like that, I was able to see it, but not let it affect me, right? And then feel like that I had a deeper responsibility to understand them and understand each side of it as I got older, because I didn't want no kid growing up like I did.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And that's a reason why I asked as well, why not the man? I'm out. You know what I'm saying? You like I'm out, but you get right back into the trenches. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the one thing about you too, BD, is that you don't over pat yourself on the back. You know what I'm saying? Like, we know you do a lot, and it's not about we out here with KTLA and this is what's going on, and you roll your sleeves up and then you leave. You know what I'm saying? Like you really in the trenches for real.
Yeah, we I don't want to be the ribbon cutting dude. I just want to be able to set it up, and whoever wants to take the credit for it, take the credit. But it's like, for me, you can't really have all the attention if you're trying to solve the problems and create the solutions.
Be all up in the video.
Yeah, you can't do everything. You know what I mean? So for me, I just kick back, because I know I have a lot of friends, a lot of other basketball players that come from LA. That's why we have this LA Unified thing. We got people like you, Big, who are bigger voices. You know what I mean? Who have great pedestals. So for me, it's really to figure out how we all can do it together, right? And I'd rather do the work, you know what I mean, and then just go to the party and hang out and
I heard
everybody,
that.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, we were like, man, you don't know who threw this party?
Baron, I feel like a lot of, well, I mean, just people in general, but when it comes to athletes, like you usually see them like listening to headphones and stuff like that. Did you listen to a specific artist before to like inspire you before a big game?
Yeah, I had a playlist.
What was on your playlist?
It was Jay-Z, Tupac, Snoop Dogg, Big Pimpin' from the Butter Rim soundtrack, Kanye. You know, it would start
Taylor
like
Swift.
it would start
The
old
OGs.
school, and then it would move up to like the current stuff as I'm getting out the gym, whatever the new swag was.
What are you listening to now?
Man, I'm listening to Young Bugatti and young LA artists coming out that we working with. I like Lil Baby, you know, Nipsey, of course.
Yeah.
I love Nipsey. I can't wait for Schoolboy Q album. You
You
know,
keep your ear in it, though.
yeah. I'm West Coast. I'm a West Coast aficionado. And then I've been producing music too.
Yeah.
So I'm in the studio with a lot of these dudes. So I get first ears on people, albums and things like that. Wale got some good music coming out. I just
You never thought, have you ever been in the booth?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, we working like we have a whole music camp, called LA Unified, and so I do a lot of the production, and with some other producers, and then we got a few artists. So we got a compilation album coming out, and we got some characters. And
You ever try to get behind the mic?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
No, but like spit some rhymes for us right now.
No, please don't. This been so positive. No, just when he was like, big, I'll burn this up.
Yeah, it's too burnt.
Yeah, he was like, big, I'll burn
Yeah.
it. He really thinking like, man.
Yeah. The windows be blown out if I get the freestyle in there.
We probably be off air like
You be like,
man,
damn,
you couldn't find nothing else to rhyme with truck. Sorry, big. Sorry, I was just in the zone. I was in the zone, man. WTF, Baron Davis, Fuse, you landed there.
Nice.
I'm telling you, man, you're going to bring a lot of eyeballs to Fuse as well. I enjoy the programming on Fuse, and hopefully we get a second season, not just for me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, to show up on there.
We need it.
But I'm
We
telling
need
you,
you
man,
on
for
there.
those, if and I'm going to tell you, if they know, they got to watch. If
Okay.
they don't know, they got to watch.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you, within the first minute of this show, you got them.
Yep.
You got them, bro.
Thanks,
and you
y'all.
did
I
a
appreciate
great
it.
job on that, bro. I tried to call you first
Yeah.
before I sent you the text message.
Yeah, no, I saw the
I
the
ain't
missed
answering
call,
this.
and I was like,
I
damn, who
saw
number
the
is this?
missed call.
Then I saw the text. I was like, yo,
I
this is
don't know
dope.
this
I was
number.
like, who is this?
I guarantee you, if I was looking at you, you probably looked at your phone.
Not at all.
And then when I don't know
Not
who
at
that
all,
is.
man. When and then you said, "Oh, it's Big Boy." What I do? I text you like 5 times. Oh, man.
And then I was like, oh my God, all right.
It was like enough,
Man, leave
dude.
me
Stop
alone.
it, wait. You know, like, oh,
I was
man.
just saying, good job, dude. I wasn't trying to talk to you.
Yeah. How long you gonna be on here? But no, you do have a great show, man. And I did get a chance to check out episode 1. And on Sunday we get back-to-back episodes, man, on Fuse. So make sure we all check it out. 11 p.m. Eastern Pacific. Like I said, man, you got yourself a great show. Continue to do the beautiful things that you do in the
Definitely.
community, man. And every time I see you, bro, you always give love and affection, bro.
Thank you,
And I
bro.
love seeing you out, and I love seeing what else is coming from you.
Yes, thank you, sir. Appreciate
Man,
it.
my
Thank
guy,
y'all for
Baron
having me.
Davis in the neighborhood,
Right.
Big Boy's
Big boy.
neighborhood.